You know, chat, you know what I realized? You guys want to know something? You know how many people believe that taxes work in the way that, like, if you make $100,000 and tax rate is like 30%, people think that, like, you're gonna pay like $30,000 in taxes. I was literally in class today, and everyone was like, "Wait, that's not how you pay taxes," and everyone was like, "Nope." Like, yeah, a lot of adults don't know that either. Is that like there's a progressive tax rate? Okay, here's what I'm talking about. Listen, if you're paying taxes and you still think this is how taxes work, hold up. You gotta learn some. Hold up. Okay, so you know you're making 100. You're making a solid 100K, and you got like a goddamn. You make 3 tax rates. Okay, you have a percentage. Like you're like, oh, I'm being taxed at 10% here, 20%. Yeah. Look at that. And it's like you pay 10% for like the first 30K, then you pay 20%. This is like 30 to 60, and then you got 60 to like 100. Stop streaming and become an artist? Yeah, true. For the first 30K, you're only paying $3,000 in taxes. It's all the money from 0 to 3, and from 30 is taxed at 10%, okay? And then from 30 to 60, that's like $30,000 right there, and you take 20% of that, $6,000. And then the last one, be 40, pay like $12,000, okay? Okay, so you got to do the math. 9 plus 12, 21. So you're actually paying 21K in taxes. So in reality, if you're paying like 100K and this is the tax rate, you're paying like 21,000, at least federally. I'm going to be charging you guys for every single tax return that you guys do. This is just the way that it works now. I've also heard the idea to tax someone based on the amount of real estate they own to relieve single homeowners of real estate tax burdens. Don't know if I'm accurately presenting that. Sounded interesting though. My understanding is that like the harm that comes along with increasing the tax burden on like flippers or like individuals that own multiple forms of real estate is that they're less likely to do that. And especially because we live in an economy where like homeowning is probably going to become less prevalent, you may be doing a little bit more harm. You have to be really careful with any form of tax. That's just the truth. Because there are behavioral aspects that come along with it. If you tax someone for 10 versus 30%, it's not like the same amount of economic activity, you're just taxing at a different rate, so it'll be behavioral changes. More taxes also comes out of rent anyways, at least if labor is mobile, because if wages are reduced, land is inelastic on the supply side, meaning that decreases in wages leads to a decrease in rent profits. That makes sense. Is land really inelastic? I didn't know that. How do you make more land? That's a good point. I would assume that like individuals buying property, how much that property is worth would change like how much individuals are buying. But like also kind of makes sense, right? It's inelastic on the supply side, not the demand side. Sure, I understand what you mean. Yeah, you're right. I was looking at it in general. Dubai made more land that no one is buying, lol. What's the issues when it comes to buying land? Like, why didn't they buy more? How would changing capital gains tax rates raise more revenue? I hope this article doesn't necessarily just look at how much revenue they raise by capital gains, but like the economic activity that happens afterwards. That's always something to take into effect. I fear that like this is maybe one of my complaints about Joe Biden is that he doesn't mess around. Like he needs to be very careful with capital gains. Over the past 40 years, distributions of income and wealth have grown increasingly unequal. In addition, there has been growing understanding that the U.S. faces a long-term fiscal shortfall that must be addressed at least in part by raising revenues. For these reasons and others, proposals to raise taxes on wealthy households have received increased attention in recent years. One approach to both reduce inequality and raise revenue is to reform the taxation of capital gains. One prominent proposal would be to tax capital gains at the accrue instead of waiting until an asset is sold, an approach sometimes known as mark-to-market. Don't you run into the same issues when it comes to a wealth tax? If this is mark to market, if I hold an asset or I hold like a stock or some shit, it increases by like 50%. You tax that even when I haven't sold yet? I don't know how I feel about that. I wonder how difficult that would be to actually collect that tax. Capital gain is the increase in the value of an asset over time. If you buy stock for 100 and the value rises to 300, you have accrued a capital gain of 200. If you sell the stock for 300, the 200 gain is set to be realized. If you hold on to the stock, the gain is unrealized. The overwhelming majority of realized capital gains goes to the highest income households. In 2018, the top 1% of households ranked by the income obtained 69% of realized long-term capital gains. The top 20% received 90% of those gains. Interesting. Abolish the stock market? No, I'm not a fan of abolish. I don't know. I don't think we should abolish the stock market. Maybe not just yet, okay? The federal income tax does not tax all capital gains. Rather, gains are taxed in the year that an asset is sold. regardless of when the gains are accrued. Unrealized, accrued capital gains are generally not considered taxable. For example, if you bought an asset for $100 10 years ago and it's worth $300 now, and you sell it, your taxable capital gain would be $200 in the current year and $0 in the previous years. That's my major one critique of some market socialists. I don't know if I want to like get rid of the ability to invest in public firms. Not only does it seem like I don't really care for the moral aspect, like oh my god, like all that crap, but like that'd be really hard to do, and we'd lose a lot of economic activity as a result. Okay, this is a little off topic. There was this meme where it was like, I think it was this like Arabian lady, and she was like, travel while you can, you'll get your money back, but your time is precious. And she's like in Dubai and everything, and everyone in the comments is like, bro, like rich people really think money's unlimited. The money will just come back, right, chat? Like